Pittsburgh's Numismatic Theater with the ANA. This is our 11 o'clock showing, and it's Richard Crosby doing his Heeren Brothers and Company Jewelers and Silversmiths. I should say they're of Pittsburgh too, right, Rich? Okay. Richard is an ANA member and an exhibitor. He served as the exhibit chair in 1989, and he was the activities chairman in 2004 at the ANA in Pittsburgh. He's also a member of many local, national, and regional numismatic associations. And without further ado, Rich Crosby to give his presentation on Heeren Brothers. Rich?
Thanks, Rich. If it's too loud, let me know. I don't know how to make it lower. I guess everybody could hear me okay. Right. Okay, this is one of my side interests. I collect many types of items, tokens, medals, political things, and items relating to Pittsburgh's history. And when you're studying Pittsburgh history, one of the things you run into is who made the items from the Pittsburgh area. And one of the major contributors to the Pittsburgh history is a company called Heeren Brothers of Pittsburgh. So what I'm doing is taking information that was written many years ago by another member of the Western Pennsylvania Numismatic Society, and Wayne Holman, which was published in the Numismatist back in 2004. I'm going to read his article, which appeared. Then I have flyers to pass out afterwards regarding the Heeren Brothers company, and also I have a little display you can look at afterwards as well. Right. So let me go ahead with this presentation. In the heyday, Heeren Brothers Company of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania designed and produced thousands of tokens, medals, badges, and decorations. Although the company is no longer in operation, its legacy lives on in numismatic artifacts. Founded in 1867, the family-owned firm, known for its high-quality work, began modestly but rose to national prominence. In the beginning, the founder, William F. Heeren, was born on August 6, 1841 in Germany and received his early education there. In 1860, at the age of 19, he immigrated to America. He lived in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania for 2 years before relocating to Pittsburgh. 2 years later, Heeren, newly married, established a jewelry business with his brother-in-law, Carl Warke. Business was called Heeren and Warke. The shop was located downtown above Platt's Saloon, on which is now an alley running from Fifth Avenue to Forbes, formerly Diamond Street, which is near today's Market Square. Initially, the partners couldn't even afford a safe, and so each night, Heeren took his gold and silver home in a cigar box. The trade appears to have been very slow in the early years. In 1860, an advertisement announced that the firm was focusing on business services to the jewelry industry. Later, this shift would have been a pivotal movement in the future of the company. In 1870, Warke died, and Heeren formed a partnership with his brother Otto. In 1871, Otto's brother-in-law, William F. Hoffman, started work with the new firm, which was known as Heeren Brothers and Company. Mr. Hoffman was only 19 years old, the same age as William when he left Germany. In 1874, Hoffman made a partner. Ultimately, he would become president of the firm. A capsule history of the company notes that in addition to being a fine artisan, William Heeren was an inventor of what became known as the Heeren badges, celluloid devices used by streetcar employees and others on 4 continents. Heeren also was the inventor of a process by means of which flowers could be pressed so as to retain their color and fragrance. Heeren celluloid badges used by firemen, police, and transportation workers indeed were marketed internationally. The company became one of the first American businesses to own trade relations with South American countries. The firm also sold merchandise to Mexico, Egypt, Portugal, among others. Heeren Brothers was so renowned for its expert craftsmanship that it sometimes was called upon by surgeons to make silver plates to replace patients' body parts, such as skull fragments. There's a little incident here. Once a man who knew he was going to have his nose removed surgically had a cast made by the doctor before the procedure. Later he took it to Heeren, who made a new nose from silver alloy, painted to match the man's complexion, and attached the bridge to a pair of eyeglasses so it could be worn or removed easily afterwards. The customer visited the company often many years and related the stories of how he had fooled acquaintances. He even made a trip to Philadelphia to show his doctor how he got his nose back. Numismatic legislation. An early medal struck by Heeren Brothers in 1878 commemorated a famous Pittsburgh-born composer, Stephen Collins Foster. In that year, a popular movement sought to raise funds to purchase and preserve Foster's homestead, so Heeren produced and sold two commemorative medals at the Pittsburgh Exposition. An admirer of Foster paid $10 for the first medal, and subsequent pieces were sold to the general public for 25 cents each, with the proceeds going towards the purchase of Foster's home. The fundraising efforts was successful. The Foster home still stands today on Penn Avenue. The exposition was not only a numismatic highlight in the 70s. That year, a group of collectors formed was the Western Pennsylvania Numismatic Society, which hosted the ANA Convention in 2004 in Pittsburgh. Another part of the Heeren legislation is a Civil War commemorative medal, which, planning its annual convention in 1894, the Civil War Veterans Group, known as the Grand Army Republic, approached Heeren Brothers for ideas for delegate badges. The firm suggested a relic medal, in this case a badge made from a bronze cannon fired by Union and Confederate forces. The recommendation was accepted, and the War Department cooperated by shipping 2 cannons to Pittsburgh to be melted and rolled out together for plastic stock. I was told that we made hundreds of medals, and these were still plenty of metal left, recalled Mr. Heeren. We made watch charms, and there was still plenty left. We made a replica of one of the original cannons. It was in the Carnegie Museum for a long time. Medals. Heeren Brothers is known for its elaborate medal commemorating the 25th anniversary in 1892. The firm also issued medals for its 40th and 50th anniversaries in 1907 and 1917. I do have some of those medals displayed above here. To recognize and reward value key employees, the Heeren Brothers partnership was dissolved in 1919 and a corporation was formed. Hoffman became president, and the 78-year-old William Heeren was named chairman of the board of directors. The firm, which had begun slowly in quarters above a saloon in 1867, now was headquartered in its own 8-story building erected in 1894 at the corner of Penn Avenue and 8th Street. And the Heeren building became a local landmark. Its clock tower was visible from many parts of the city. The clock was known for its accuracy, keeping time exactly. Never had to make any changes in it. The building was torn down in 1963. In 1920, William Heeren retired and passed the reins to Hoffman. Just 4 years later, Hoffman relinquished the presidency but remained on the board of directors. Hoffman's 2 sons, William and Herman Heeren, who were vice presidents of manufacturing and operations, respectively, took charge, maintaining the near-century-old tradition of keeping the business in the family. While the company is best known in the numismatic world for its medals and badges, by 1924, Heeren Brothers had become the largest jeweler and vendor between New York and Chicago, distributing diamonds, watches, clocks, optical supplies, as well as manufacturing rings, pins, trophies, medals, and badges. On Thursday, June 19, 1924, Heeren employees gathered under clear skies at the Duquesne Canoe Club along the Allegheny River in Verona for the annual company picnic. After a hard-fought baseball game, the executives and sales departments managed to beat the factory workers for the first time in many years. Supper was served on the lawn, and music and dancing followed, all under the watchful eye of the company's 83-year-old founder, William F. Heeren. These were simple and joyful times, but adversity lay ahead. The picnic would be the patriarch's last company event. Shortly after this carefree outing, he fell and broke several ribs. Despite advanced age and poor health, he rallied. Heeren continued to go to his office until mid-December, when he became seriously ill. He died December 17th at his home. Less than 3 years later, Mr. Hoffman suffered a stroke, which left him paralyzed. He died at home at the age of 75. This was the last of the company's old guard had passed. The entire Heeren company was closed until after his funeral. Hoffman's sons carried on the business, but the stock market crash in 1929 and the ensuing economic depression proved to be its final blow. The firm attempted to revive its fortunes by implementing Herman's ideas to adorn spectacles with jewels in 1930 and had diamond-studded eyeglasses made and tried to promote them. An article by the company's new style concept appeared in the Pittsburgh Sun Telegraph in 1930. Models of the Edna Snipe, the glasses had rims of 18-karat white gold and bridge of hand engraved and set with three diamonds. The lenses were optical. The article noted that the opinion of most of the persons who have seen them, they show refinement as well as class. One of the firm's last major retail advertisements appeared in 1934, but the company never completely closed its doors. Over the years, various departments and operations were sold or closed, leaving a small business that were there a mere shadow of the Heeren Brothers' former glory. As recently as 1990, Heeren Company operated in Pittsburgh as a four-person business, 2 owners and 2 employees specializing in the restoring, refinishing, and replating of silver and gold and brass. This is pretty much the article that appeared in the Numismatist. The Heeren Company is located somewhere on the south side of a 1-story building. It's pretty much phased out, but they had a long history of doing some excellent designs and manufacturing metallic items, such as the items that I have on display. What I'd like to do now is to show you some of the I'll show you some of the buildings of the Heeren Company and also some of the items they made. So I'm gonna just push this here, and hopefully this will work. Can everybody see that pretty clearly? Mm-hmm. All right, it's going pretty good now, hopefully. That's just some of the scenes of early Pittsburgh. That's the original first building of the company. That was the building. It was completed in the 1890s. This is the front of the building, as you can see. The interior. Parade. They came out pretty good, the pictures. Well, this is a match safe, which I don't have there. This, you could look at this stuff and see that. All this is on display at the front, so after it slides over, you can certainly take a look at it. It's showing you both the front and reverse of the metals. That's a lovely metal. Pittsburgh Gas City, the back. That's a pin on the back of this one. Allegheny County, 1888 and 1810. Stephen Foster. Looks like music disappeared.
I'm afraid to touch it.
That's the same metal, but a top hanger to it. GAR metal. Lincoln's cabin. What are railroad conductors? Reverse, that's the blockhouse. A German festival. The church. Knights Templar. Yes, not too good a picture. Pittsburgh Fire Department. That's on a pin, that's very unusual. Keysport Hospital, nurse's pin. Kindergarten Union. That's the most lovely of all the medals. This one there. That's in a case here. All these medals are stamped somewhere, Heeren Brothers and Company, either large or small. We'll normally have Pittsburgh on the back, probably mostly abbreviated. They did a number of sports and athletic medals. There's probably hundreds of them. I just didn't put them out. That's the end. Okay, what I like to do now is that I have a display here. You can look at it, and if there's any questions, you could ask me at the table over here, and I got a handout at the same time. I also have an exhibit downstairs on the GAR encampment of 1894, which does have a couple of Heeren Brother pieces in them as well. And there's some souvenir spoons the Heeren Brothers also made for the 1894 encampment, which is not in this presentation. But there's quite a few things that this company did make in the area. They were not as big as some of the national companies like Whitehead and Hogue, Bastien Brothers, Medallic Art, but they were a large local company who contributed quite a bit to the history of Pittsburgh and the items that they have produced. What's unfortunate is most of the items that the company made are long gone. The only souvenirs we have of the company is the Medallic items that they have produced there. It's a shame that at least we know what this company existed, and they did provide a good service to the public there. I do thank you. I'm sorry about the problems with the machine, but we'll get better. We'll put in some better slides next time and get this going better. Thank you very much. You could look at my display. Bye.